I asked and you answered. We're back, we're cracked, and we're ready to go. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Pates, your favorite Battlefield 6 glazer. So, I've been seeing these posts on social media talking about how broken Breakthrough is after the Winter Offensive update, and I thought it would be a great idea to test every single Breakthrough map in Battlefield 6. For anyone who doesn't know, or they're just unfamiliar with the game mode, it's objective based just like all the rest in Battlefield. Shocker, I know. There's one attacking and one defending side. Depending on the map, there's 1 to 3 objectives that you have to fight for. It is one of the more fast-paced game modes in the game. As you guys know, I wasn't too negatively affected by the winter update. Before the update, the recon drones were feeding me the information of the battlefield, and I had my eyes all over that mini-map. And now, while they're still useful, this new audio has me feeling like Daredevil, talking about there are other ways to see. Anyways, let me lay out the rules for the judgment. In order to get a fair judgment of these maps, I had to play a lot. And I mean a lot of Breakthrough. I probably played 10 games of Seizure Cairo and Liberation Peak separately. Some maps were easy to judge and other maps, well, you're gonna see. In order to keep this as fair as possible, I wanted to stay consistent throughout the judgment, and trust me, there's a very consistent theme going on after this update. So I'm gonna be judging based off of the attacking side, the defending side, and the overall flow of gameplay. Also, I'm going to be using one gun for all of the maps, mostly. Now you might be wondering what gun, because as you know, every one of these maps go through a various amount of terrains, but let's be honest. We all know submachine guns are the best and they reign supreme. Some of these picks may surprise you. Some of you may agree with the takes, and some of you may click off after the 6th place. So I have to say, disclaimer, this is just my list. Anyway, strap in, you're in for a long one with a surprise at the end. With that being said, let's not waste any more time and let's get to it. Since this is a Breakthrough video, I have to take out Iberian Offensive and Saints Quarter. I'm sorry.
You don't belong here. You never did.
Alright, we're gonna start off with the obvious. The worst of the worst. New Sobek City.
What's this, motherfucker? What's this? Huh? What's this? What the fuck is this, motherfucker?
Whoever designed this map deserves a special place right next to the 3rd Hokage. I genuinely hope whoever created this map wakes up every day with wet socks. I hope whenever they go out for anything, they have to pay airport prices. If this is your favorite map, you probably need to get checked out. If you let them pass the first point, every turn you take after that is going to be chaos, and it's not the good kind we like in Battlefield. Once those fights start taking place in the buildings, this basically turns into a whole different map. I'm not sure many people have fun there except the sweat sliding around like they're at a Diddy party. Even on defense, defending the first point is weird because you have to hunt for the enemy team in the base since the hills play into their favor. It doesn't play well for defenders because of the hills and the random cluttered debris, and it doesn't play well for attackers because you'll find a lot of the enemy team already posted up in the buildings with no intention on using either W, A, S, or D. The final nail in the coffin for this map is that there aren't any flank routes either. The tank issue that was here after the Winter Offensive update is no longer present, at least in this map. But I think this map is truly beyond saving, and while I do enjoy it because it's still Battlefield content at the end of the day, somebody has to take that L, which is why it's in F tier. Alright, and coming up next we have Marac Valley. And now while this map feels great and it looks like it was built for Breakthrough with the evenly spaced areas, making it a 64 versus 64 was an insane choice when you also give the attackers 3 vehicles. Like, I understand you wanted to give the attackers a bit more incentive, but the defenders are fighting for their life. This map will literally have you in the trenches thinking that you're in Hacksaw Ridge or that you're Desmond Doss trying to go through the rubble to revive your bro while trying to avoid a tank that's exactly 2 feet away from you, looking up and saying, please God, just one more. Like, in what reality is giving the enemy team another tank a good idea? Taking away the IFV and giving them a tank while also removing the defending vehicles is a giant middle finger to the defenders. And you would think adding more people would give you more engineers, but from all the games I've played, people just want to snipe or run through the front line with a defib. This is probably one of the bigger changes that I noticed after the update. At this point, I'm going to start avoiding this map like Toby Rama avoiding the Chiggers. And for that, it's on the lowest playable tier. Now, this is the one that people are going to click off for, and you guys are probably going to hate this one, but Eastwood is up next. While the beginning stage is fun for both sides, mainly defense, this map is just way too unforgiving. It starts and ends with an extreme. Out of the 3 points, if the enemy team gets past the first line of defense quick enough, you've pretty much already lost. Trust me, I have so much fun running through their neighborhood, but when you get to the final house, the defending team should just hang it up. Not to mention the vehicles in this map are crazy overpowered, which they should be, understandably so, because you're in the middle of Los Angeles. However, there are these very convenient hills for the offensive side after the first point that just lets the enemy team rain fire on you. The center of the map is personally my favorite part of this because it's almost a fair fight for both sides. You have flank routes, close and mid-range fighting, and if you want to be a weirdo with a sniper in the back, you can be, at least on defense. This map is the purest definition of you're either going to be dominated or you're going to dominate. There is no in between. This is an A or maybe even an S on literally any other game mode, but specifically Breakthrough, I just can't imagine placing it any higher when the next maps exist. Sorry, my Cali fans, it gotta go here. Now this next one, as much as it pains me to do this, and it really pains me to do this, I have to put my favorite map up next. Empire State, you gotta go here. Shifting the first objective down the street makes it so much easier for attackers to capture the point. When it was at the truck, at least they had to actually fight for the objective. Now all the attackers have to do is just destroy the buildings, and the far side of the map isn't even utilized anymore for the first sector. You just have two guys camping to make sure nobody passes through. This would have been so much lower on the tier list had DICE not changed Objective A in Sector 2. I'm sure you guys might have glimpses in your memory of Objective A, but in Sector 2 they had Objective A extending outward in the building, and again, this is just a giant middle finger to defenders. There's just no way you can control all of that space. If you tried, you would find someone lurking in the shadows with a shotgun, most likely from the attacker side. I'm just glad they removed it and they changed it back to similar proportions as before. Other than that, this really isn't a breakthrough map. This is not where Empire State excels. Because ironically, defenders previously had a much easier time on this map. They had more places to camp and set up. Now defenders are just getting... On any other game mode, you're still going to find me here fiending over this map like you young bucks fiending over Sue Storm all year. Don't act like I forgot. But for now, you belong here, Empire State. It truthfully hurts my soul to place you here. But like I said, I gotta keep it fair. I guess this is what true heartbreak feels like. I think the only thing that'll make me feel better and get me over this is you hitting that sub button, sharing with your friends, and keep being a real one. Now, let me start off by saying with the next one, Liberation Peak was not peak. This map was a really weird one because while I do heavily enjoy the map, it suffers from what Sobek City suffers from. On defense, you're basically sitting on the defensive line just waiting for the enemy to cross. But what this map does a lot worse in my opinion is that it allows the enemy snipers to sit much further back. And the enemies blend into the map way too well, which is honestly a good thing because this is Battlefield at the end of the day. It wasn't much fun for the first point, the second point, or the third point on defense. You would think they would have given this map the 64 versus 64 treatment like Marac Valley, but they didn't. The major W for defense is the large amount of distance attackers have to cross in Sector 2. This entire map's saving grace is the offensive side. The offense feels so great when you're storming a mountain, pushing the enemy back. The defense also doesn't have that many places to hide. This is kinda one-sided. The flank routes really only benefit the attackers. The one thing that could change the ranking for this map massively in my opinion is that if they implemented some kind of sandbag system like they did in Battlefield 5. Being able to build sandbags for the defensive side would be so clutch. But as is, if you try to push back as a defender to the attackers, good luck not getting your head sniped off. This is sniper paradise. And while terrain plays a huge visibility issue and defensive issue for infantry, it also helps them when it comes to vehicles. None of the tanks are much of an issue because they can't get over the rocks. That doesn't mean much though, because if you try anything crazy, you're gonna get the Patrick treatment. The real saving grace for this map is how the game flows when you're attacking. This is probably one of the most Battlefield experiences that you're going to get unless you're playing Operation Firestorm. And for that, I actually gotta place it here. With the rest of the map starting to dwindle down, you can probably guess the next ones. Speaking of Operation Firestorm, the original classic Battlefield experience. I actually gotta admit, I don't really care for this map. I've been playing since Battlefield Bad Company 2, but unlike most Battlefield fans, I have no recollection of this map. I don't know if I got hit on the head with short-term memory, but all I know is that it's a power plant. That being said, it plays so well. It's spaced accordingly, the vehicles on both sides make it so it's not too overpowered, and there's a lot of close quarters fighting once you get to the tower. It really is crazy to think that this was made over a decade ago. Also, side tangent, I am disgusted on how you Battlefield unks move around those levels so fast. It's like the second you guys get to those towers, you get possessed and muscle memory starts kicking in. Attacking or defending, it did not matter. This map is great. The changes were noticeable, but they really evened out the flow of gameplay. I'm not sure any changes in this game can affect this map. This map is Battlefield at its literal peak. It survived an entire decade of Battlefield. It's basically become Battlefield's Nuketown. Sadly, I can't place it in S tier simply because it's a remastered classic. I'm sorry, I have principles. Let's reserve those spots for Battlefield 6 Originals. And for that, you sit at the very border of A, Operation Firestorm. Too bad another Firestorm couldn't be as good as you. These next ones are about to ruffle some feathers. Oh boy, Blackwell Fields. If you mentioned this map to me a month ago, I would immediately take it off the rotation for any and every game mode except for TDM. I know I wasn't the only one praying to be a defender whenever I saw this on my loading screen. This map had me praying like Eddie Brock asking God to kill Peter. But after the update, I love this map. I triple checked and nothing even changed for this map, at least at the time of this recording. But players are moving differently. People are actually pushing the objective and allowing us to move on to the better parts of the map. Before, it felt like I was just donating my body to science whenever I would die for the objective. It's like the community came together and stood on a united front acknowledging that Sobek City is the worst Battlefield 6 map. My only thing with this is that why are there 3 objectives at the end? It's like the DICE employee was like, I wonder how I control our players. Wait, I have an idea. If this wasn't the case, I would place it in S tier, which I know is an insane take. I'm sorry, crucify me. This is a rare map that is great for breakthrough, but does not have the capacity to be great in any other game mode. I know a lot of y'all are about to click off the video after seeing that, but hold out, let me cook. Now, if you told me you queued up Manhattan Bridge 2 months ago, I would immediately leave the lobby. I could not stand the bridge exploiters and the people getting to the rooftops that they had no business getting to with the drone exploit. Now hear me out. On a side tangent, I'm not against rooftop fighting on Battlefield. Some people believe that I am. But at least add some stairs. In Breakthrough, you had legitimately no way to counter a drone exploit because there was no helis. And had this stayed in the game, this would probably be sitting next to Sobek City. But DICE has really been putting in that work to make this map more enjoyable on Breakthrough. Attacking on Breakthrough has always been the most difficult side by far, and it's not even close. But increasing the capture volume in all sectors and moving the objective off the rooftop in Sector 2 was a peak decision. I'm telling you, my palette before this was so limited, but now I'm eager to play this map. Just like Minority Hunter Zorro is eager to fight someone with even a hint of melanin on them. It might just be because I'm a Brooklyn boy, but I'm trying real hard to be non-biased here and to go just based off of Breakthrough alone. I mean, look how I did my map Empire State. Manhattan Bridge just flows so much better and was probably one of the only maps that needed an attacker buff added. To be honest, this map and Blackwell Fields, in my opinion, could go back and forth. But I just can't get behind the 3 objectives at the end. Manhattan Bridge just barely squeezes in. And last but not least, in first place we have Siege of Cairo. This is probably why this video took so long, because I was initially going to place it so much lower than this and have Manhattan as the only S tier. But I needed to play it multiple times to get the flow of the game and to see everything this map had to offer. The only camping spot that's even viable are the buildings in Sector 2, because it's almost impossible to get to the second story if they have their corners covered, unless you do a crazy flank. Otherwise, defenders just had way too much of an easy time. This map succeeds in every area that Empire State fails, and it just makes it so much better. 4 push points, 200 lives to keep the pacing fast, and entire lanes that some people don't even use makes it so good. Attackers having another tank in Sector 1 doesn't matter when you have so many buildings and rockets to hit it from. However, if I had to point out one flaw, it's probably adding 2 tanks in Sector 3. That's kind of overkill. Nonetheless, I'm putting it in an S tier. And that is all of the maps in Battlefield 6 ranked for Breakthrough post the Winter Offensive update. I apologize for this video taking so long to come out, but it took quite a bit of playing to get a decent picture of each map. I didn't want to base it off of one good game on one map and say, oh yeah, this is S tier because I went 30-0 on this map. So in my opinion, Breakthrough is not broken whatsoever. I think people are just over-exaggerating the downsides of the Winter Offensive update. Am I saying this game is perfect? It's definitely not, but I think people are just doom posting about it to get a lot of clicks. I will say it's harder for defenders on a few maps, but other maps flow better because of this update. Even while making this video, things have been changing. DICE has been working and changing slight things here and there. Like, I'm not even sure people noticed, but they got rid of the golden guns without saying a word. It's clear they're listening to the feedback even during the holiday time. Speaking on feedback, I want to thank all of you that voted. This really helped point me in the right direction of what content to put out. And for those who voted Marvel, don't worry, I'm cooking something up for you. Now, after looking over the YouTube guidelines so I don't get the ban hammer, I finally figured out how to do this YouTube giveaway. If you still see my account up next year, it was a success. If not, then you're gonna have to take me as an example. The prize giveaway is a $25 American Express gift card. The entry dates are December 21st, 2025 through December 28th, 2025, noon Eastern time. I apologize I couldn't get this out a week before Christmas, but I wanted to cook up a little bit more quality. I also wanted to give a week for those people seeing this later and spending time with their loved ones during the holidays. I am going to be using YouTube random comment winner to select the winner. And all you need to do to enter is comment your favorite map for Breakthrough. I cannot force you to sub or share, but like, you know, if you want to, go for it. However, this will not affect your placement since I can't even see who subs anyway. I will announce the winner on my post at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, December 28th. So be on the lookout in case you win. The winner will be able to contact me on my TikTok or Instagram to receive their gift card, both of which are in my links in my YouTube bio. Please guys, stay on the lookout because I need to be able to contact you if you enter. If the winner does not collect their prize by December 30th, I will be selecting another winner. This will be on my post on YouTube. I will also be verifying that you are who you say you are. And finally, I have to address that YouTube does not endorse this giveaway. Now that all the legal stuff is done, I want to thank everyone again for joining the evolution. We have come so far so fast. And if you haven't already, please hit that like, subscribe, and notice button. And let me know how you would rank these maps down below for Breakthrough. I should be squeezing out one more video before the new year, maybe two. So happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.